I am teaching OOPS features or principles, means object-oriented principles. So, any programming language, if you take any computer programming language, they are categorized into two types. The first one is procedural-oriented programming language. The second one is object-oriented programming language. So, if you develop any real-time project, any real-time project in the software, that has to satisfy two types of programming languages. First one is procedural oriented programming language. The second one is object oriented programming language. Now, what is procedural oriented language and what is object oriented programming language means? Procedural oriented languages applications are they can develop system software, application software, but not able to develop distributed applications. Distributed applications are nothing but those applications are runs in the browser and the results will be shareable across the universe. So applications which are runs in the we have so many browsers. We have so many browsers: Internet Explorer, and Mozilla Firefox, and Chrome. So many browsers are there. So the applications which runs in the Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox or Chrome like this, those will be run in the browsers and the results will be accessible anywhere in the universe. Those type of applications called as distributed applications. So by using procedural oriented programming language, we can't develop distributed type applications, nothing but internet applications. So that is the main limitation of procedural oriented programming language. And if we use procedural oriented programming language to develop distributed application, we have four types of limitations. The first one is it is platform independent. We know that what is a platform independent means OS dependent, operating system dependent means it will give different types of results in the different types of operating systems. So that is the first one is procedural oriented programming language is platform dependency. The second one is between if the data is traveling between client and server, the data will be in the form of plain text only. Plain text is nothing but understandable format. For example, if you take India, we know that India is a country name, and this is the data which is understandable, that is known as plain text. And if we add +2 means for I, after the plus means I, J, K. Next for N, after the two letters it will come O. After the D it will come F. After I, K, and after A it will become C. So KOFC means there is no specific meaning for that. So the word which does not have specific meaning and which is not understandable by the users is simply called as ciphertext. So in the procedural oriented programming language, the data is visiting between client and server in the form of plain text only. If the data is around between the client and server in the form of plain text, hackers will easily know that what is the data is there. So that's the main drawback in the case of procedural oriented programming language. And when the hackers know that the plain text, they automatically arises security problems. And the last one is in the procedural oriented programming language applications, the data in the form of functions only. So these are the four limitations in the case of procedural oriented programming language. Some of the examples are Pascal language, COBOL language, and C language. These are some of the examples regarding procedural oriented programming language. Coming to object oriented programming language. So by using object-oriented programming language, we can develop the distributed applications. I already told you what are the distributed means. Nothing but the applications runs in the browsers. And if we develop some applications, we have get some advantages. First one is platform independent. Nothing but we can run the applications any OS, any operating systems. And the second one is the data is visiting between client and server in the form of ciphertext. I already told that ciphertext means which is not understandable by the users. And in the next one, so when the data is visiting between ciphertext, security will be improved. And the last one is the data is in the form of objects in the case of OOPL, object-oriented programming language. And whenever the language is said to be object-oriented programming language, it has to satisfy 8 principles. The first principle is class, second one is object, the third one is data encapsulation, fourth one is data abstraction, fifth one is inheritance, sixth one is polymorphism, seventh one is dynamic binding, the last one is message passing. The first concept is class. So what is the main purpose of this class means? The main purpose of this class is to develop programmer defined data types. So what is the programmer defined data type means? Programmer defined data types are allows to store multiple values of same type or different type or both types. So by using these programmer defined data types, we can store values of same type means all may be integers, all may be float, all may be character type, or different type means they may be combination of integers, float, characters, and strings, or both types. Like this, in this programmer different data type, we can store multiple values of same type or different type or both their type. So to develop the class concept, we have to use the one keyword name called class keyword. So keyword used in this language is class. And whenever you write Java programs, the class concept is mandatory. Without a class concept, there is no Java programs. We can't write Java programs. There must existence of class concept in the case of we develop Java programs. And coming to the definitions, what are the definitions of a class means? Class is a collection of data members and methods. Or you can write second definition, the process of binding data members and methods into a single unit is called as a class. So you can write any of these two definitions. The first one is class is collection of some data members and methods like this. A class is collection of some data members and methods. Or you can write second definition, the process of binding data members and methods in a single unit is called as a class. Now, so whenever you define a class, there is no memory space is created for the data members and methods. In the case of class, if you create a class like a student class, there is no memory space is created for the data members and methods. But whenever you develop an object, I will tell you what is an object next classes. Whenever you develop an object, definitely there may be memory created for the data members and methods. So class concept is logical existence. Logical nothing but there is no memory space is created for the data members and methods. So class concept is logical existence. Coming to objects, the object concept is physical existence because it will take some memory space for the data members and methods of particular class. And now I will explain what is a data member, what is a method means. Data member is nothing but it is some properties of a particular class. Suppose if you take student class like this, student class contains some student number, roll number, student name, student marks, student address. So these are the sum of the properties of the student. Student definitely have some roll number. Student definitely have some name, some marks, and some address. He has some address like this. These type of variables is simply called as properties of the student. So these properties are called as simply data members. And the student also contains some methods like how many number of study. He has to study maybe 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours of study. And float total marks. How many marks he got in the total subjects. The total is called as float get total marks. This is also one method. So the combination of the process of binding or the collection of data members and methods simply called as a class. And class diagram is very simple. Class contains one class name, any user defined name. It contains some data members and methods. For example, if you take some student class, student class name is student, and the student has some data members like this: the student number, roll number, student mark, student address, and student has some methods like this: int get number of our study, float get total of marks, and string some grade. We make it O grade, A grade, A plus grade, or B grade, C grade like this. So this is a simple diagram, simple student class diagram regarding the class concept. And the syntax is a keyword must be there, class and class name, and some variable declaration, some method declaration, and class keyword is mandatory. After the class keyword, you have to mention some class name, any user defined name like the student, and of open brace. In the open brace, you have to declare some variables and some methods and close brace. Syntax, I wrote a keyword called class. So what is a class means? Class is a user defined or program defined data type. Programmer defined data types are purpose of storing multiple values of same type or different type or both types. And what is a class name means? It can be any user-defined name. You can give any user-defined names. Okay, for its class name. And what is a variable declaration means? Some data members. And what is a method definition mean? Method definition contains some list of methods. Methods, what is the purpose of methods mean? To define some operations. And all the methods should be present within the class only. Outside of the class are not allowed. And definition of a class must be enclosed within the open brace and closing brace. So if you define any class, the class definition must be enclosed within the open brace and enclosed in closing brace. And at the end of the closing brace, you may not write the semicolon, you may not write the semicolon, okay for us. You can write the semicolon here, or you may not write the semicolon, is okay for us. For example, if you take some student information, I already told that what is a class means. Class is some collection of data members and methods. If you take some student class, so every student contains some student roll number, student name, and some marks like M1, M2, M3. Assume there are 3 subjects only there. Student contains some student roll number, student name, and some marks. Student roll number is of type integer, student name is of type string, marks is of type float. And coming to methods, get number of hours study. How many hours is study means? I wrote written some 6 hours in a study. And get total marks means marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. I already told you there are 3 subjects are there. Float total means 3 marks of marks are stored here and written total. Get some grade. I give one A grade. So like this, student class contains some data members and student contains some list of methods. Like this you can write any class. For example, if you take second example, addition of 2 numbers, we have to store those addition of 2 numbers in C. And some methods like void accept method, void add method, void display method. In this one, take class name as sum. Class name as sum. And take 3 variables as A, B, C of type integer. And method operations are void accept, void add, void display. In the void accept, I gave A as 10, B as 20. And void add, I added A plus B. A is 10, B is 20. Those values stored in C. And void display, I have to display the C value means C value will be 30 will be displayed like this. Some class means some contains some data members and some list of methods like this.